today I'm really excited to have my friend CJ Stratt with us today and hear her perspective, just being in kind of an interesting angle in the marketing space and the marketing wins that she at least was sharing with me before we hit record here. I was just like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. And it's so simple. It's not rocket science, but it's getting their clients and customers some great results. So CJ, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me on. I'm super excited to share.
Yeah. So you are with On the Move Trucks, and you've had kind of a long-standing relationship with the company. You mentioned that it was a family company that you found your way into, but why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and just how you got to where you are in the company and what your role is at the moment?
Okay. Well, I originally went to college because I thought I was going to own a hotel. That was my dream since I was a little girl, was to own a hotel. I always saw my family with their own businesses and stuff. But I went to college in Hawaii for travel industry. They had a great program there, but I took one marketing class and I changed everything. And I was just like, I just loved everything about marketing, the way you organize it and how you get to know people. And really just the psychology behind it really just fascinated me. So I changed my major and to marketing. And so I really was fascinated by everything. And that was like when I was in college, that was like the year Facebook was invented. So there's just so many things on the horizon for changes and stuff. So I really was excited to learn a lot on the way, because I mean we didn't even know what Facebook could do at that time. We just knew it was going to be cool. But I eventually I ended up doing a couple of jobs or careers where I was doing outside sales, and I was doing medical sales, and I wanted to do a little bit outside of my family before working for my family, because we had a family business. And so finally they needed some marketing help and it was a great fit. So I ended up coming in. The girl that I was working under, she ended up quitting, or not, she ended up, she resigned, but she wanted to go sail the ocean for a year. So I had no, or sail the world, I guess. And so I had no contact with her. So it was kind of hard to be like,
Oh
I
my
can't ask
goodness.
her questions or anything.
You were thrown
But
in the deep end.
yeah, I was. And so, and no one was really doing the marketing. So I eventually just like changed my title myself on them, since I was ordering all the business cards. I was like, okay, I guess I'm marketing director. And just my parents gave, or my mom allowed me really to have a great opportunity. I mean, being that young and inexperienced in marketing at that time, now I realize how inexperienced I was.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, it was a great opportunity to be able to show what I could do and learn along the way. I mean, I took every side class that I could about marketing, especially when it came to social media, and just trying it and just talking to Facebook when they would offer like different consultants and that kind of stuff. So eventually I worked for the company since 2007. And then in 2018, I decided to slow down a little bit because I wanted to have another baby. And so I thought I could start my own business and have it a little bit more low key. But I opened up a paint store, and it just wasn't something. I did not do enough research. And so I've learned the hard way of I just wanted to go for it. And we, to compete with Home Depot and Lowe's and the Sherwin-Williams stores in a small town of about 7,000, it just wasn't going to provide me the lifestyle I wanted for my family. So we ended up closing the store, but I learned a lot of valuable lessons. You know, your biggest failures are your biggest lessons, right? So and then I came back to On the Move, and I was here for about another year, and then I got promoted to CEO. So that was my so I've been in this role for about a year and a half now, and it's been challenging to try to stay away from marketing a little bit more. And but we've definitely adjusted our marketing as well. So it's been exciting changes, and looking forward to our future.
That's awesome. It's so interesting just like to see the trajectory of just, I guess your willingness to just learn on the job, because I entered the marketing space around a similar time. And, the reality is there was no major for these things. There was social
Mm-mm.
media was not even a phrase people used when we were choosing what we would study for
Right.
a degree. So, you have to learn as you go. You have to embrace those opportunities for, the one-off, you know, webinars or workshops
Right.
or, different things that you can take advantage of to learn, because so much of it is on the ground. People are all figuring it out at the same time. And so I
Exactly.
love that you just, you dove in and
Yeah.
took that marketing piece, seriously on your shoulders. And now you've got this perspective where it's even more than just marketing. It's, it's the operations, it's the sales, it's the success of the whole company. So
Right.
that's so great. So tell me a little bit, or tell our listeners here a little bit about what people use your trucks for. Like, how do you guys
Okay.
solve problems for people? Because it's actually like you were telling me, it's just a very simple concept, but it can make such a
Mhm.
big difference for people.
Right. Well, it's pretty simple in theory. Our We've been doing this business since 1992, and so we
Mm-hmm.
saw the need for marketing at our storage facility. And so
Mm,
we had our own truck, and we were like using like the big companies like Ryder and U-Haul, and it always had all their branding on it, and it didn't have ours. And
mm-hmm.
so we decided that we wanted to be a little bit more customer centric for our storage customers. And so that's how we on the move was born, was that we wanted just our own truck just for our tenants and around the
Yeah.
community. And it was a rolling billboard for our storage facility. And I really got to experience that because my parents, they did open storage facilities. So my first job was at a storage facility. And seeing we would just drive the truck to the bank, and I would get calls from the truck.
Mm,
I saw your truck, and what's that mean? And where's your storage facility? And it was just, I mean, just so simple. It's like I knew where my truck was because I could tell where people were moving from. Um,
yeah.
and so it was really, our customers have made it even better than we ever did at our storage facility. It's amazing what people take one idea and how much better they can make it. And so
Yeah.
I do share a lot of my customers' stories in our magazine. We do like a quarterly magazine.
Oh,
But
cool.
the one lady we're about to feature on um, our thing, she lets anybody in town use her truck, just
Mm,
anybody. And she's like, the more it's on the more it's out there, the better. She's like, and she also has like everything that her customers could possibly need as a real estate agent. She's like, oh, you need a bouncy house for this weekend? I've got one. You can rent it out of my storage. She just has this whole like, she's just is very
generosity
generous
approach.
to her customers, and she wants to make sure that she covers all of their needs. And I mean, that is just way outside the box, but she's very, very successful with it. So it's like, just the more you put into it, the better results you get with your customers. And so I think that's what is so cool about our product, is that it fills a need for customers. It's not just and they're actually doing the work for you when driving the truck around, or
Right.
so it's like a win-win, right? So
Yeah.
and yeah, so our customers, they'll actually like donate it to different charities, even like the women's shelter, or even the Girl Scouts. I've seen them donate to the Girl Scouts. So when they're delivering cookies, like
Yeah.
they have a truck to be able to do that with. And I've seen it in parades. Like I know we have a local parade here, and so I bring my truck and I put like the reindeer ornaments on
Uh-huh.
the windshield and everything, and I put a red nose on the front. It was like just to have it out there and be part of the community. So,
Yeah.
um, but
Well, there's a few things that I really love about what you just shared. And one of those is just like the multi-purpose
mhm,
of what you guys are doing, because, it's like people are already, out and about needing a truck.
right,
Why not maximize that real estate that you have there to its fullest potential? So I love that piece. And then the story you shared about that real estate agent, I mean, it's just a tool for relationship building,
exactly.
and I just think that's a really cool tool. And it's, in fact, it's been a while since I've helped people unload a truck, because you get to a certain age and people stop asking, once you're
Yeah.
out of your 20s, you're like, okay, we'll just pay for movers. But I had some friends
Right.
that moved across the country, and this weekend had a snafu with their moving company that was supposed to like move them with this cross country move. And so
Mhm.
they ended up needing people at the last minute to help unload their truck. And
Wow.
so I dealt with a moving truck this past weekend. And it's just a reminder of like when you are dealing with a move, how nice it is to know that you have a resource like that at your disposal. I mean, it's a huge like stress relief. So,
Exactly. Exactly. Especially the more convenient you make it for your customers, be it if you're in the storage industry or real estate. Everyone in your customers, you just put yourself in their shoes. What are they going through when they're purchasing your
mhm,
products and that kind of stuff? And what can I do to help them? And so that's what what's grown us to what we are. And as we're really just a convenience
yeah,
for
wow,
our customers to give to their customers. And so it's great. I mean, they can definitely charge for the renting, but the majority of my customers, they loan it out. They see the value of the rolling billboard aspect of it, and also
yeah,
just like the word of mouth. I think is, one of my favorite marketing is just amazing what word of mouth does. I mean, that's
yeah,
like I say, try and true is my I guess my saying today, but it's
yeah,
just like, just simple marketing, just having billboards. They're still around,
yeah.
and having a rolling billboard that people can use at the same time is a no-brainer for our customers, I feel.
Yeah. Well, and I'm thinking like the brand recognition, like especially if you're working with a lot of real estate agents, for example, if you are in, I mean, even if you're in a larger area, like, you know, I work, I'm in the Denver metro area. So like there's a real estate agent, anywhere you turn,
Right.
right? It might be a little harder if you're serving a whole huge metro area, but I'm thinking like if you specialize in a specific pocket of town, or you're in a
Mhm.
smaller town or just community where it's very tight knit. I mean, the brand recognition of seeing that truck
Right.
showing up nonstop throughout town, the number of impressions, like when you think about the sales cycle and people needing
Mhm.
7 to 10 to 12,
Right.
the number always changes, but clearly people need to see your brand a few times before they're willing to like take action as a general rule, right? But
Right.
so if you've got this truck that's rolling around, that's, those 7 to 10 impressions that you need for people to
Exactly.
say, like, oh, yeah, that's the real estate agent I should work with. Like, they're out and about everywhere, They don't have
Right.
to know that it's your customers who are your clients who are the ones out driving it around all the time. So,
Well, and then working with a real estate agent, I want somebody that is marketing savvy.
hmm,
They have to market my home. And so the more creative they are with their marketing, then more
yeah,
creative they are going to be to get my
that's
home sold.
such a good point. Such a good point. Golly, yeah. So now you mentioned like you guys work primarily, like you guys can ship trucks or send trucks anywhere, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, we're nationwide. I have trucks in Alaska,
oh, fun.
Hawaii, Canada. So we're definitely nationwide. And
That's so great.
mhm.
Wow. So, you've had, there's this, you've got your trucks, you've got this company, you jumped into the marketing space of it. You're now in the CEO role, so you have a slightly different perspective. But what has been one of the challenges you guys have experienced in trying to market on the move? Um, and what did you guys do to overcome that challenge? Like, tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about some of that, because as we all know, the last few years have been throwing just a few curveballs at most businesses.
Well, it seems like such a simple way to like track our marketing leads and that kind of stuff. And it's been super difficult. For me, it's been the biggest challenge I've had. It's just the tracking of where our leads are coming from and what is actually, closing the deal and that kind of thing. And so it's been crazy with just like I'm really fascinated with the internet and how to advertise on the internet and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. But SEO has been super difficult for me because people will think either we're a moving company or they think that we're renting trucks. And it's like, no, I'm doing B2B, not consumer. I'm not,
Yeah.
directly working with consumers. So I've had a really hard time uh, overcoming that. And so it's just been I can't just market just one way. I have to make sure people understand it's not really like just a quick, like, it's not just a quick like tagline that what we do,
Yeah.
I don't feel. So that's always been a little bit difficult. So I've been super excited with like audio and video now helping with the SEO and like longer phrases and stuff. So I've seen that as a big win for
Yeah.
companies like me, where it's just difficult to, I would love to spend all my money in SEO and whatnot, but it's just,
Right.
it's not, I have not been as advantageous for me personally or for our company. Uh,
Yeah.
so we do a lot of travel for trade shows, and a lot of
Mm,
customer relationships are very huge to us. We've had a lot of our customers are repeat, majority of our customers are actually
that's
repeat
great.
customers because they either buy an additional truck or by having another location. Some of my customers have, my real estate customers, they'll share it with their the other broker or the other real estate agents in their office, and
Yeah.
they'll need more than one truck. And so I have real estate agents that like, I think I've gotten 10 referrals from one real estate agent for other realtors. So it's kind of cool to see that like, it's so good for my business. You have to use it for yours. So
Yeah.
that's been great. But the biggest challenge right now, which is just unusual, is just getting the inventory. I mean, it's just
Mm,
crazy, like driving by different dealerships right now that don't have any trucks or cars. You're like, what's happening there? You know?
yeah.
And so for me to be like, okay, I have a wait list for trucks is really cool, but it's frustrating at the same time.
Sure. Yeah. You want to deliver something to the client,
Yeah, it's like
you know.
yeah, exactly. Like I like, I don't know when you're gonna get your truck. I don't know when or how long until the next one's built. So right now, like luckily we are, we are stocking back up right now, but it was
That's
just like
great.
it's very nerve-wracking the last year.
Yeah. Well, it is probably nice too to have like to be building that wait list and have some of that like scarcity or exclusivity,
Exclusivity.
around like
Mm.
getting something from you, and the experience that you can build into that. But yeah, I'm sure that also presents, a little bit of stress here and there. So,
Right.
um, yeah. So now you, as from being in a marketing role and all, your career here, what advice would you give your former self, that first week on the job doing all that marketing work? What would you go back and tell yourself?
Hire interns, get an assistant. You can't be the best at everything. Like there's just so
Yeah.
many parts of marketing that are so different and they need different skills, like the technical skills versus the outgoing and be able to speak to the public. And but I think I've seen the most successful people are just really when they're willing to work with people and ask for help and ask other marketers and network with other marketers on what works for them and build off each other. So I think that's what it took me a long time to learn,
Mm,
and then really helped us succeed, and just talking to our customers and be like, okay, not be afraid to do that and just be like,
yeah.
why did you use us? What made you pull the trigger? What's been successful for you? And just people are
Yeah.
really willing to share when they're happy about something. And now, I mean, it's been a whole new world. Like, I mean, we use reviews to make decisions, and that's
Right.
been definitely a change. So it's like, okay, so I need my customers to talk more and ask them and have them in our articles, have them in our ads and
Yeah.
videos, everything.
Wow. I love that. I love that. Yeah, that's a lesson that I think I learned as well the hard way of just like trying to do too much for too long,
Yes.
and not getting somebody else in the mix to help out with certain things. And we were both talking before we hit record about, having babies within the last 4 or 5 years. Um, I mean, when you have something like that, or you have major surgery or something, and you're going to be out for a certain amount of time, no questions asked. It really forces you to get your ducks in a row in terms of your team. So I've been very
Oh,
grateful for that just like season of life, because it's forced me to get so many systems
yes.
and processes in place so that I could be out to, enjoy that newborn phase or whatever. So
Exactly. Because I mean, I was definitely faxing when I was in delivery. I mean, how old school is that though? But it was like my 9-year-old. I was like, I had to sign contracts and get them. And I was like, the easiest way was to ask my nurse if she could fax them. So it was pretty crazy. But I was like, okay, another day or two would have been fine. Like it was just like,
Yeah.
I think that's a part of being a marketing person is like we're so organized, we're so used to deadlines. It's like it's due today, I have to have it there, and
Yeah.
nothing's gonna stop me. So
Right. Yeah. No, well, I mean, I think I took a one day officially off with my son. We had an
when
emergency
was the last time?
C-section,
I was like,
but
I'm pretty sure like on all my social media, it's like, when was the last time I took a break from that? Even like on my trip, it's like, oh, here I
yeah,
saw a customer, I saw what other trucks or whatever I'm always
yeah,
posting. It's like you just don't take a break.
yeah. I will say, like, while I didn't cut out completely, except for, a few pockets here and there, um, I did have the ability to ease back into things, which a lot of people don't have the luxury to do.
Mhm.
Maternity breaks are usually all or nothing. You're either
Right.
completely out and then it's like whiplash to come back. Or,
Yeah.
like for me, I was able, since it was my own business, I was able to control how I eased back into things. But yeah, it's
Well,
sometimes hard to set
well, especially
boundaries.
like the work from home, like the newborn was easy. It was the 9-year-old being rambunctious. It was the
Yeah.
dog. Like the maternity leave, I can see working from home a little bit easier
Oh,
now
it's
than
so easy. Babies sleep all the
they
time.
just sleep. It's like, okay, I know their time. Like she's going down at 3. She eats at 3. Like I had it down. I
Yeah.
had a, 12, 3, 6, 9 schedule that I weaned her off of for feeding and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. I remember after my daughter was born being like, I'm so grateful I can work because I would be
Yes,
so bored at
so
home right
bored.
now. My brain needs some stimulation.
And
But
it was always like, oh, you're a new mom. But I was like, oh, I gotta let you go because my dogs won't stop barking. So
yeah,
let me
yeah,
call you
it's the
back once
other
I get done.
things
They
that
don't listen.
distract. Oh man. Well, okay. So if you were to give our listeners today one piece of advice to go after their next marketing win, what would you tell them? What piece of advice would you leave with our listeners today?
I mean, I always want to say trust your gut. It's hard to put yourself out there, especially when it's with creative and that kind of stuff. It's
Yeah.
people really do. I mean, it took a long time for me to be like, okay, I really am. Unfortunately, I never thought I would say this, but I was the expert in truck rentals, and so I knew how to
Hmm.
market them, and so it's just like, trust your gut, know that you're doing the best you can, what you're doing, and it could be the next best thing, or it could bomb, and you just learn from it, and then it could be
Yeah.
great. Like the thing that bombed could be great next year. You just never,
Mhm.
you never know. The world changes so fast, and people's opinions change so easily. It's like one person could have loved it. It's just definitely for wins, but I definitely would recommend tracking it the best you can. And really, that's what really pushed me ahead. I really had a hard time with my sales team. They weren't getting the sales, and so I was getting blamed a lot. Like she wasn't getting enough leads, and so I would like bring the amount of leads
Mhm.
and be like, here's a spreadsheet of all the leads that I produced, and you
Yeah.
guys didn't close them. So is it me or you? So
Right.
yeah, I mean, that was my biggest win is just like, track what you're doing for work.
Yeah.
It's really hard too. Like, I mean, I just have a Word doc on my desktop that just is accomplishments, just so I can remember like, oh, okay, this was a win for me. And
Yeah.
a year goes by so fast. And if you keep track of what you did, and
Yeah.
we never think um to do that. And so like we'd have employee reviews, and it's like, oh my gosh, what did I do this year?
Right. Yeah. The year
You
goes
know?
fast.
So I just think, just pat yourself on the back, take the wins, and definitely track your wins, and remember them. And they might be great. I was talking about we had all of these yellow cargo vans that we had to sell when I first started, and I tried to get like a ad on one of the news
Mhm.
stations. And it was like $15,000, and I got nothing, not one call, and I just felt like
Mm.
such a failure. I worked so hard on the script with them. I've worked so hard on shopping out the different programs and seeing who I
Yeah.
thought was the best. And then the best thing that worked was me just making something on Publisher, like with like a babysitter thing, like
Yeah.
cut with your cut for my number, type thing, or take a piece of
Yeah. Pull the
paper, and
tab
so
at the
like,
bottom.
yeah, the tab at the bottom. And so that was like the best. That was the best thing I ever did in marketing. That like it was just like so simple again, and but it just really worked, and it got people to call, um and it was like I try to go, the extravagant way, and just the simple way works. So you just you never know until you try it.
Yeah, gosh. I mean, between just the concept of the truck being the rolling billboard and just what you just shared around just like a simple flyer working,
Mhm.
it's just a reminder that, I mean, you do need the digital marketing. You do need to look
Mhm.
professional and
Right.
forward thinking in today's world, but you also can't discount the tried and true old fashioned techniques that could be the game changer for you. So for anybody who's listening, just remember, maybe sometimes thinking out of the box means going back to what your grandparents would have done, you know?
Right.
So gosh. Well, CJ, thank you so much for sharing just about your
Oh,
story and
thank
just the
you.
background of what you've built over there at On the Move, and just getting the wheels spinning on some just out of the box ideas that could
Mhm.
really help take people's marketing to the next level. I'm just really appreciative of everything you've shared today.
Well, thank you so much. It was definitely fun. I love talking about marketing, and it's definitely hard to put in my rearview mirror with the CEO. It's still my number one thing,
Yeah.
to
Oh,
focus on. I'm like, okay, what's going on in the marketing? So,
yeah. Oh, yeah. It'll never leave you.
no, it's constant.
Well, if people want to get more from you, where should they go?
Oh, please follow me on LinkedIn. I share a lot on there. I'm under CJ Strat, which is STRATTE. I get called everything but that, but so find me on LinkedIn. And then also check out our website onthemovetrucks.com, and feel free to shoot me an email if you ever have any questions about marketing or outdoor marketing, or have any questions about that. Shoot me an email, info@onthemovetrucks.com.
Awesome. And if you're interested in getting a truck to enhance your client experience, you know who to call. So
Yeah, for
CJ, thanks
sure.
again. Thanks again for showing up for today's
Thank you.
interview and sharing all your amazing insights.
Thank you so much, Valerie. It was fun.
If you liked what you just heard, please hit subscribe to make sure you don't miss any of our future episodes. And while you're at it, go ahead and leave us a review. That not only helps us out, but it helps others discover great interviews just like this one.